What a show today. My goodness. Brace yourselves. Let's start with Josh Hawley, the Republican senator, pushing forward legislation to ban stock trading for members of Congress. And it led to a very confused reaction from Trump. That was Hawley's justification for Trump exploding, lashing out at Hawley and yelling at him over this. And then apparently on their phone call, they resolved it. I'll give you that information, stuff about the bill. I will warn you, I think we should ban congressional stock trading. And also similar to Hawley pushing forward legislation right after he voted for the bill that ripped away healthcare from millions of Americans to prevent healthcare from being ripped away from most Americans. Just be cautious of Hawley because he's kind of a phony. He likes to act like he's more populist and sometimes less radical MAGA on things, and then he follows the party line. But I'll show you him on Jesse Waters' show discussing what went down between him and Trump. First, you have this Rolling Stone headline, why a confused Trump lashed out at a MAGA senator, with a subheading, old man yells at senator. Rolling Stone, brutal. Donald Trump lashed out his longtime ally and prominent MAGA senator Josh Hawley in a bizarre Truth Social post on Wednesday. The president pilloried the senator as a second-tier lawmaker. So let me just read you the post. The Democrats, because of our tremendous achievements and success, have been trying to target me for a long period of time, and they're using Josh Hawley, who I got elected twice, as a pawn to help them. I don't think real Republicans want to see their president, who has had unprecedented success, targeted because of the whims of a second-tier senator named Josh Hawley. Now, this was assumed, given that Hawley was in the news for this congressional stock trading ban, to be on that subject, which, to be clear, would prevent, as all of these elected officials with this inside knowledge and governing ability to affect the very companies, the very industries that then they would be trading within, not right. However much you think it impacts their trading, even the appearance of it is wrong. But they're still allowed to have long-term, more broad investments. They just can't be making those individual choices for obvious reasons. Hawley named it, though, the Pelosi Act, because Nancy Pelosi, notoriously her husband, is very good with the whole trading stuff. But it's funny because they'll yell about that, but then they won't really be introspective about their playing in that same game. But regardless, here's Hawley saying, I cleared it up. Trump was angry, but I said, this won't affect you, which apparently was Trump's fear, was that this is going to apply to him.
So when you spoke to the president, did he explain why he called you second tier?
Well, I think that the president, a number of people who are opposed to banning stock trading had said to the president that he would be covered by the bill. He'd have to sell Mar-a-Lago and sell assets. Not the case at all. The president and the vice president, all their assets.
Someone explained to me how Trump saw a congressional stock trading ban and went, I'm going to have to sell my home. How'd you get that from this? Josh Hawley, you're a dick. I can't sell my home. Oh, Mr. President, I love you. That's not what it was intending on doing. So weird. While we're watching, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate the show.
Are totally exempted. And here's the point. This is what we talked about. The point of this bill is to ban members of Congress from trading on the information that only they have. I've supported this bill for years, Jesse. I think we call it the Pelosi Act. It is named for her because she is the poster child of this kind of behavior. It ought to be illegal and it ought to be prosecutable.
So what Pelosi will say is that she doesn't manage any money. Her husband manages the money. Her husband makes the trades, and she has nothing to do with it. Does this bill have a loophole that she can exploit again?
Yeah, no, in fact, this bill will cover not only her, it will cover her husband. And the point is we need to make it illegal for people to do this kind of thing. 86% of Americans look at stock trading by members of the Congress and they say, we ought to ban that. They can't believe it's not been banned already.
Yes, so I agree. I agree with the legislation, but what drives me crazy about this is why. Why is the underlying... I explained the logistics of why it's problematic, but more zoomed out, morally, ethically, you don't like the idea, and we shouldn't have to believe that people are getting into elected office and then exploiting their position to make a bunch of money, and then their decisions are being made influenced by that ambition to make money. So I love how he's all rowdy when it comes to Pelosi, which I want to ban the thing that allowed them to make as much money as they did. But she actually has said she's supportive of this now. It's Trump who freaked out about it. And if we're seeing it as problematic for elected officials to be influenced by their ability to make a bunch of money, Joshy boy, what about Trump? Can we ban the meme coin thing? Whatever you believe about the underlying, not legal, but ethical corruption about stock trading or making a bunch of money off of decisions you're making in whatever capacity like the office, 10 times more corrupt to have a meme coin that is really difficult to trace who's paying you and you can just have money funneled to you, or taking trips to your properties to get a bunch of press attention around your properties. So that's probably why Trump was preemptively upset about this. Any suggestion that you shouldn't be able to just squeeze, you can picture, I one time squeezed an udder of a cow and got the little milk. So you put it on a little thing, a machine, but first you got to make sure it's clean. And so you put like your first finger here, farmers, you can tell me if I remember this correctly, on the top of the udder, and then you like walk it down very sensually. I felt very strangely connected to this cow. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Jaden. This is cow udder. And you walk it down, you squeeze it out, right? And then you put the machine on it, they suck it dry. And any suggestion that Trump should suck like a machine out of an udder of a cow every last bit of milk / wealth out of an office is offensive to him. Now, after yelling at Hawley and then apparently resolving it in their phone call, Trump then got asked and said he's actually okay in concept as long as it doesn't impact him. Okay, maybe he didn't say that last part.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Hawley introduced legislation that would ban members of Congress from owning or trading individual stocks. It extends to the president and vice president. Are you in favor of that legislation?
Well, I like it conceptually. I don't know about it, but I like it conceptually. And, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. So in that sense, I'd like it, but I'd have to really see I study these things very carefully, and this just happened.
Mm-hmm. He'd have to see how much it impacts him. Again, MAGA, you see, I'm saying a Democrat who did a lot of things I liked, Nancy Pelosi, shouldn't have the ability. Now, since she had the legal ability, you understand why her husband did what they did, as long as it wasn't actually inside information, but whatever. You don't like that appearance. Wait, you came in this powerful position and all of a sudden you're just like a genius. Maybe your husband's just a genius in trading. I don't know. But I'm willing to say we shouldn't do that. But please, MAGA, agree the underlying ethics Trump is guilty of 10,000-fold. Please acknowledge that. By the way, on this cow story, then the farmer called me. I was young. I kind of felt weird about it, like I'm underage and this cow's pretty old, and it just felt inappropriate, But the farmer called me later and said, Luke, this cow keeps going murr, and I understand cow murr, and it was saying it wants you back. Something about the brilliance that you grabbed its udder with was like nothing it had ever felt before. So I don't know. Anyways, that's unrelated. I just thought you should know. Speaking of strange-looking mammals, Rick Scott says, how dare we prevent our ability to make money?
I own operating businesses, but somehow it's suspect because I made money.
Well, you were a part of one of the biggest frauds in history, dude. Medicare frauds.
I don't know how many people in the audience, how many of you don't want to make money? Anybody want to be poor? I don't. Right? So this idea.
Take it down. Anyone want to be poor? Rick Scott net worth. Let's see. Rick Scott. What? Really? Why doesn't it just give me I can't even read that number. There's no commas. His net worth in 2018 was $259,663,681. Wow, sounds big. I need the commas, okay? I can't even tell what that is. And then, I mentioned Nancy Pelosi. She was asked about Trump accusing her of criminality.
Let me just read what he said. I'm sorry that we had some sort of technical issue. Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I
and
wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time. I'm not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider. But the president has his own exposure, so he's always projecting. He's always projecting. And let's not give him any more time on that, please.
Okay. There's tech issues, there's issues, there's you know what I'm saying? Dooba-dooba-doo. Who knows? Bibba-doo. Boo. Share your thoughts in the comments. And cows out there, keep your wits about you, okay? I'm a man. I'm only a man. There's only so many udders I can clear out of milk.